The Habs have been stressing me out so much with their inaction during the offseason. Last season, they got Noah Dobson and Zachary Bolduc, but now, nothing. I swear, if it wasn't for the World Cup, I would be pulling my hairs out. I'm happy for the Laval Rocket. They're building a great team for them. I just wish they would acquire some players for the main show. Anyways, today I'll be discussing the potential trade options for the Habs based on the trade rumors I've seen online. Let's start with arguably the best center I'll be talking about in this video, Dylan Larkin. It's pretty well known that Dylan Larkin, who has a no movement clause, gave a fairly restrictive list of what teams he wants to go to. The Florida Panthers, the Minnesota Wild, and the Vegas Golden Knights. The list is more restrictive than you think because Vegas has a negative cap space and Florida has nothing left to give after the Brady Tkachuk trade. Unless Minnesota takes Larkin, neither he or Detroit are going to be happy. Even Larkin recognizes that because he added Dallas to his list of potential trades. Detroit tried to trade Larkin for Wyatt Johnson, but Dallas refused. I saw many teams like the New Jersey Devils and the Montreal Canadiens as teams that may try to acquire him. The thing is though, do you really want a player who doesn't want to be on your team to play for you? The Habs aren't the flashiest teams, but they tend to pull through with insane chemistry. In other words, with the power of friendship. I mean, if he wanted to go to the Habs, he'd ask for it. This is a trade that would benefit neither party because Larkin probably doesn't want to play for Montreal. And if he's unwilling to play for them, Montreal isn't going to get much out of him. Let's move on to the funniest option, Shane Wright. Now, I don't know if Wright wants to play for Montreal either, but he doesn't have a no movement clause, so it doesn't matter. I feel bad for Shane Wright as well as other players like Matty Beniers because they are good players, but they don't really get noticed because Seattle has a pretty terrible hockey team. It would be funny to have Shane Wright on the same team as Juraj Slavkovsky, and even funnier if they're on the same line. I don't think Wright would mind because Ivan Demidov and Juraj Slavkovsky are great players to have on your wing. But as funny as getting Wright would be, I just don't feel like it's gonna happen. The Habs' most likely option for center is Elias Pettersson from the Vancouver Canucks. Now, the Habs have already made a major trade, giving the Canucks Brendan Gallagher for nothing, so he can happily retire in his hometown. But the Habs and Canucks can make another trade. I know Pettersson isn't as good as he used to be, and he costs $11.6 million a year until 2032, but he's still a highly talented center. Plus, he'd only be the second center because there's no way he's taking Suzuki's spot. And with the matter of his salary and the cap space, the Habs have $9.7 million to spend. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but the Habs just need to make some trades and then they have enough money for Elias Pettersson. The Habs just have to get rid of $2 million, which isn't much because most of the Habs are paid more than $2 million. You just have to get rid of one of your rookies or maybe Jack Struble. Don't get rid of Jack Struble, please don't. And if they're not going to use their money for a second center, what are they going to use it for? They can offer Vancouver the Matthew Nice package. Zarovsky, Pickford, first round pick. Maybe they can throw in one of the other Habs that costs $2 million. Vancouver can rebuild with new young talent, and the Habs can have an experienced center for Ivan Demidov and Alex Newhook. Now, if the Habs are unable to get Pettersson or any center for that matter, what happens? Well, they have many centers that could be temporary solutions for when Michael H finally joins the team, like Alex Newhook, Oliver Kapanen, Kirby Dack. The problem is we don't know when Michael H will join the team or if he's even going to be ready when he joins. You can't bet everything on Michael H, but you can build up the centers you already have. They can be placeholders until they can acquire a second center or for when Michael H arrives. If Michael H isn't the center they need, they have someone to take his place. They are very young, and the Habs can mold them into the players they need until they have a permanent solution. If that's the route they want to go, I'd suggest either getting a goal scorer or some more muscle. Enter Patrick Kane. It's been reported that the Habs are trying to acquire Patrick Kane. It's a rumor, but I would not be mad. Kane is a legend and I grew up watching him play, so it'd be great if he were Hab also. Also, he seems like he's trying to go for the original six, and he's played for Chicago, New York, Detroit. Maybe the Habs are next? The man is 37 years old and had 0.85 points per game last season, which is great. He's a UFA too, so they don't have to give anyone up to acquire him. Kane and the Habs both have to be interested though, because we actually don't know if the rumors are true, because they're rumors. It's that simple. And the Habs have a lot of money to offer, and I don't think he's going to ask for much, so they can acquire someone else too. That brings us to Michael Bunting, who's also a UFA. He may not be a power forward or have nearly as much experience as Kane, but he is something that the Habs are now missing. a pest. Now that Brendan Gallagher is gone, the Habs don't really have a pest. And you may be thinking, pests are bad. Yes, pests are bad when you're the other team, but pests are usually beloved by their team. Ask Bruins fan if they hate Brad Marchand. They absolutely adore him, and I understand why. Gallagher was so beloved by the Habs that he was made an honorary citizen of Montreal just because Montreal loved him so much. Did the other teams like him? Absolutely not. As well as being a pest, he is a decent playmaker who could fill in a third line spot. When people talk about potential trades or signings, they only think about the potential first liners or second liners. Signing someone like Bunting could free up Zachary Bolduc or Josh Anderson to be slotted into one of the top two lines. Let's be honest here, the Habs' top two need more grit, and there's only one Slavkovsky. Remember, both the first and second lines were at their best when they had Slavkovsky, a power forward. And I know I'll have people saying, they tried Bolduc at the top line and it wasn't good. No, he was just bad in comparison to Slavkovsky because Slavkovsky's just better than Bolduc. To be frank, I don't know why they haven't tried Bolduc with Demidov yet. It seemed like an obvious choice when both Newhook and Dak were hurt. You have the talented playmaker in Demidov. You have a speedy goal scorer in Newhook and grit in Bolduc. I propose moving Bolduc to the second line and have Newhook serve as a temporary center. Because their lack of grit is as much of a problem, if not worse, than their lack of Suzuki-level centers. There are a lot of options for the Habs off-season, but there are two clear paths. Either acquire a decent second center or build up your current centers. Hope Michael Hayes remains good, and get a goal scorer, power forward, or decent third liner. I beg of you, Ken Hughes, please do something. Not just for Laval, for the Montreal Canadiens. Please do something because you're stressing me out, please. But anyways, if you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!